So there seems to be a bit of confusion going on around the Chinese Grand Prix in 2023, and I think it's kind of a lot more complicated than most people have realised. Now, Shanghai, China, of course, they've still got different and changing COVID regulations, but they're insistent they want to host a Grand Prix in 2023. Now, of course, we all know China has 1.4 billion people, and Zhou Guanyu is now racing in the sport, so it kind of makes sense for Formula 1 to want to try and host a race there. It would be fantastic business. The NBA saw it back in the 90s and early 2000s, and Formula 1, that is a ridiculously large market to tap into. However, a problem arises when Formula 1 can't go there in April. Now, apparently the rumour is that Portimao is basically now signed to be taking over from the Chinese Grand Prix this year. Does it make particularly brilliant sense from sort of a travel perspective? Not really, but Formula 1 is desperate to get 24 Grand Prix in. The problem with that, though, is if China turns around later on this year and goes, great, now we want to host a Grand Prix, there's not really many places it can slot into, of course. That would then up us to a 25 race calendar, which would be absolutely insane. So Formula 1 has got to try and find a way that not only can they definitely get 24 races if China doesn't host an event, but also needs to potentially find a way that China could host an event late on in the year. Of course, it used to host, I think, the final race of the year for a couple of years when it debuted in Formula 1, but yeah, they've got to try and find a way to make all these pieces work. That's why we haven't had confirmation of the 24th GP in 2023. They're basically trying to just keep the Chinese government happy.